All right. So I sent you questions on vectors. Okay. So those were past papers. That was 2020, 2019, 2018, and was it 2017? Something like that. I think these were the first papers from where I got those questions. Okay. So I'm going to go through maybe 2 or 3 together, so that because you mentioned that there were some questions that you are not able to answer. So I'm sure when we go through 2 or 3 questions, I'm sure you'll be a bit familiar now on how to go about some of those questions. Okay, so let's start with 2020. This one should be 2020, yeah? So it says in the diagram below, okay, in the diagram below, AVC is a straight line. So we have something like this. We have a straight line, which is AVC. I mean, it's going like that. And then there's also another line like this. Okay. And then, okay. Then there's V here. This is V. This is A. Then this is C. This is B. Okay. Then we have M here. Somewhere here. And then, yeah. And then it says AB, okay, AB is equal to 8P. So from here to there, okay, it's going in that direction. This is 8P, okay. And then we have SC is equal to, which one is SC? So SC is equal to what? It's equal to 4P plus 9Q. 4P plus 9Q. Okay. Then BV, where is B? BV, this line here. Okay. BV is what? BV is negative 6P plus KQ. Okay. So BV is equal to negative 6P plus KQ. Okay. Then what else? And AM is equal to MB. AM, so M is here. Okay, this is where M is. AM is equal to MB. So in other words, these two are equal, meaning that M is the midpoint between A and B. Okay. So you can join this one here. Let me just write it a bit more straight. Right, something like that. Okay. Okay. So now we can start solving the questions that we have, right? We have drawn the diagram, and now we need to look at the questions. Okay. So vectors is really one of those very simple topics. One of the things that are very important is for you to understand the main concepts, okay, the little concepts of how to solve these questions. Okay. So we're trying to use past papers for us to understand how you can answer questions in an examination. Okay. So now you need to understand the directions, for example. So like when we say AB is equal to 8P, it means that if we do the reverse, such that we say BA, then it's going to be negative P and negative 8P. Okay. So if you're going in the direction A to B, it's positive. If you go in the opposite direction, it's going to be negative. That's why we say that these are vectors, meaning that we're going to have the same magnitude but different what? Directions. Okay. Similarly, this is AC, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 4P plus 9Q. So if we go in the opposite direction, then it's going to be negative 4P minus 9Q. So those are some of the things that are very important for you to remember. So the question says, part 1, it says express in terms of P, Q, and K. We start with AM. Okay, AM. Now here, really, what like I've mentioned, you really have to take note of direction. So it's like you want to move from A, Okay, you're trying to move from A to M. Now we've already been given an equation. Okay, we've already been given this equation. We're saying that AM is equal to what? Is equal to MB. Okay, is equal to MB. So this simply means that AM, the ratio of AM to MB is simply equal to what? 1 to 1. That's what it means also. That's what it means. Okay? So this therefore means that AM, okay, is going to be equal to what is the ratio for, or rather what is the proportion for AM? The proportion for AM is simply what? 1. Okay? 1 all over the total proportion is 2. But then what's the total distance? We're talking about AB. So in other words, we're saying that this is AM is equal to half of the total, which is what? AB. Okay? So it's going to be half of AB. Okay? Which is going to be equal to half multiplied by 8P. Which is then going to be equal to what? 4P. So this is the answer here. Okay? So this is how you go about it. So now, there are different ways in which this can be given. Okay? This can be given. Remember, in our question, it's been given that AM is equal to what? It's equal to MB. Okay? Now, the other way they can put it is the way I've put it here now. Okay? We're saying that where they use a ratio, saying that the ratio of AM to MB is equal to 1 to 1. That is another way it can be phrased. Okay? The other way it can be phrased also is that we can also use this one here, okay, where they tell you after the or they can do this. Remember, here we are saying that AM is equal to 1 over 2 AB. So the other way it can be phrased also is that we can say that 2 AM, okay, is equal to AB. Okay, is equal to AB. So that is another way they can actually phrase it. Okay, that is one way they can phrase it. The other way they can also say the ratio AM to AB is equal to 1 to 2. That is another way. So all these that I've expressed, this one which was originally in the question, and then followed by this one, followed by this one, and this one here, okay, and then lastly this. If you find any such, they are basically talking about one and the same. In other words, these are the different ways in which this can be expressed. So you are going to find in other questions, instead of them giving you such a scenario where they tell you that AM is equal to MB, you can find a scenario where they give you a ratio like this one. They can give you a fraction like that. They can also give you an equation like this one, or a ratio also like this one, where instead of using MB, they use the total distance from A to B. So basically, it's still meaning the same thing. Okay. So now let's go to the next one, which is AV. Okay, AV. So let's have that one. Let's look at how we can go about it. Okay. So AV. Oh, we have not yet completed that one, right? So I've just written the equation. So then this is going to be equal to half. Oh, I finished this one. We found that AM was equal to what? Is equal to 4P. Okay. All right. So then if we look, we're trying to find AV. So what is AV? AV here. Okay. AV. Now, what equations have we been given? We've been given what? Let's see what we have. So we have this one. So we want to move. It's like we want to move from A, okay, from A to V, right? We want to move from A to V. Now, for us to move from A to V, we need to we assume as if there is no root here, okay? As if there is no root there, not so. So we are at point A here, okay? So the only way we can move from point A to point V is by first going to point B, and then we go to point what? V there. Okay. So we're saying that AV is going to be equal to AB. then plus what? BV. Okay. So now, that's what we have. So now, what is AB? AB we already given is what? HP plus BV. I think we're given that one in the question, right? BV is given as, it's what? Negative 6P plus, plus what? Plus KQ, okay? Plus KQ, okay? Like that. Then, so meaning that this is going to be equal to HP minus 6P, right? Then plus KQ, okay? So this is then going to be equal to what? It's going to be equal to HP minus 6P is what? 2P minus, plus KQ, okay? So this is going to be the vector AV, okay? That is the vector AV. Is that okay? Any problem?
No.
Okay. Right. Then we can also look at the next one. Okay. So the next one says that is part 2. It says given that AV is equal to AC. Okay. Given that, what am I going to erase? Let me erase on top here. Given that AV is equal to HSC, okay, HSC, by forming an equation involving P, Q, and H and K, or otherwise find the numeric values of H and K. Now this is going to be very simple, okay? So given these equations. Now, one thing about vectors is that if let's say for example, okay, before I get back to this, I want to show you something about equality of vectors. Okay, there's what is called equality of vectors, right? So what we say is that if we have, let's say, vector AB, okay, which is equal to, let's say maybe let's say X A, okay, let's say maybe X A plus let's say plus Y A, okay, Y B, okay, and let's say vector B, vector CG is equal to, let's say H A plus, let's say K B, okay. So let's say we have these two vectors. Then we say that for CG, okay. Then we say that vector A B is equal to vector CG if and only if, okay. If and only if these are equal, okay. If these two, if the coefficients of A here are equal and the coefficients of B are also equal, right? Then we're going to say that these two vectors are what? Are equal. If X is equal to H and Y is equal to K. That is the only way we can say that those two vectors are what? Are equal. Otherwise, they are not going to be equal. Okay. So now, let's get back to our question. Get back to our question and see what we're going to end up with. Okay. So we're saying that we have AV. What do we have as AV? AV we have already found, isn't it? We know that AV is equal to this, which is 2P plus KQ, right? Equal to H. Okay. Now, what is SC? SC we are given here. SC is what? SC is 4P plus 9Q. 4P plus 9Q. Okay. So we just expand here. So we're going to have 2P is, plus KQ is equal to, this is going to be 4HP plus 9HQ. Okay. So again, we get back now to what I'm just illustrating. So what it means is that for these two equations, for these two to be equal, it means that the ones with P, the coefficients of P on this side and on this side, they should be equal, meaning that this and that should be equal, right? And then it also means that this and that should also be what? Should also be equal, isn't it? Is that okay? So what are we going to have? We're saying that 4HP is equal to 2P. Okay? So obviously we can cancel out the P. So we're going to have 4H is equal to 2, then divide by 4, divide by 4. So H is equal to what? Half. Okay? H is equal to half. Okay? Then we can also equate this one and that one, right? So we have 9HQ, okay, equal to KQ, okay? So again, the Q and the Q can cancel. So I saying that K is equal to 9H, isn't it? But we have already found that H is what? H is half. So we're going to bring this value here. We bring it there, okay? So this is then going to be equal to 9 multiplied by half, which is going to be equal to what? It's going to be 9 over 2, which is the same as 4 and half, right? Okay. So this is how you answer such a question, okay? Is that okay? Is there any problem with this question? No. Okay. So let's solve the second question. Okay, let's solve the second question. Let me see. I need to choose one which has a question like the one that you said you are not familiar with, isn't it? Okay. So I think I'm going to solve this one. This is 2018. Is it? Should be 2018. And let me see this other one. Okay. All right, let's check out 2018. I mean 2018, 2018, yes. Can I erase? Yes. Okay. Are you getting ready for your exams? Exams are coming soon, isn't it? Yes. Okay. All right. So let's look at this one, which it says in the diagram below. So let's look at the diagram. So we have a triangle like this. Okay. Something like that. And then okay. So this is OA, B. Okay, so this is A, this is B, okay, and then we have M here, and then we have a C here, okay. Then it says in the diagram below, OA is equal to A, OB is equal to B, and then, okay, there's something, it says AC over what? Over CB is equal to half. Okay, is equal to half. AC over CB, that is AC over CB. Okay, is equal to. So in other words, the ratio is 1 to what? To 2. Okay, so the other way of expressing this is that we can say the ratio AC to what? To CB is equal to what? 1 to 2. Okay, that is the other way of expressing it, isn't it? So now, the other way again, we can cross multiply here, right? Such that we're going to have 2AC is equal to what? Is equal to CB. So that is also another way of expressing the same information. So if you find any of those, you shouldn't get confused. Is that okay? Okay. So now, let's get to the questions. So it says express in terms of A and stroke or B, okay? That is AB, okay? So AB, okay? So again, we assume as if there's no route here, so we want to move from point A to point B, but the only routes that are available is this one and that one, okay? So we're going to go back to point O, the origin, and then from point O we go to what? To point B, okay? So this is going to be AO plus what? Plus OB, okay? Plus OB. Now, remember what I just explained when we started? The direction has changed, isn't it? But the magnitude has remained the same. So this is going to now become, this is going to be negative OA plus OB, okay? Like that. So, what is OA? OA, we've been told that it's A, but there's a negative now, so this is going to be negative A plus, plus what? Plus B, okay? Now, usually we don't want to leave a negative, okay? So there are two rules when you want, when writing the final answer. Number one, you follow alphabetical order, but then if one of them is negative, you start with the one that is positive, even if it doesn't come first in the alphabetical order, okay? So in this case, since B is positive, we're going to start with B. It's just better. Not that there's anything going to be wrong with your answer, but it's better to simplify it like that. So this is going to be B minus A. Okay, so that is part 1A. Then part 1B, we want to find AC. Okay, AC. Now, here we have, we already have this ratio here, isn't it? We already have that ratio. Okay, so I think that 2AC, remember I've already cross multiplied there. So 2AC is equal to what? Is equal to CB. Okay. Let's do this before I use this one. So we are looking for what? We're looking for AC. Okay, AC. So meaning that AC, okay, AC is going to be equal to 1 over the total. What is the total ratio here? The total proportion. We have 1 here and 2 there. So what is going to be total? It's going to be 3 over the total, which is what? AB. Not so. Is that okay? Is it fine? Okay. So we have added the proportions here. We have 1 and 2, so we have 3, which is the total. Then the numerator there is going to be 1, which is for the one that we are looking for, which is what? AC. So this is then going to be equal to 1 over 3 multiplied by B minus A. Then this will be, if you want, you can leave it right here, but again, you can also simplify if you want. This is going to be 1 over 3B minus 1 over 3A. Either way, the answer is still going to be correct. Okay. Can we go to the next one? Okay. So we now want to find, this is OC, okay? OC, okay? So OC is going to be equal to, remember again, it's like we don't have this root OC, we want to move from O to C. So we're first going to go from O to A, and then from A to what? To C. So this is going to be OA plus what? AC. Okay? So OA we already have. What is OA? It's A plus OC. What is OC? What is AC? We have already found what we found just here. This is what? 1/3 of B minus 1/3 of A. Okay? So then we connect the like terms, we're going to have what? A minus 1/3 of A plus 1/3 of B, which is going to be equal to 2/3 of A plus 1/3 of B. So that is going to be the answer. Okay, any problem there? No. Okay. So now let's get to, is that the one that you said you're not familiar with, the last part?
No, it was the question.
Okay, okay. No problem. We'll still go through all of them probably in the next one. Okay, so let's do that one. Okay, I'll write it from top here. So this one says, given that M is the midpoint of OC, okay, show that AM is equal to, so we're saying that M is the midpoint here, and then we want to show that AM is equal to what? Is equal to half of B minus 4A. I mean, this is 1 over 6, right? 1 over 6, okay, 1/6 B minus 4A, like that, right? Okay, so now, since we're saying that OM, okay, I mean we're saying that M is the midpoint, right? So it means that this is equal to that, isn't it? And it also means that, so here, look at this, we're looking for what? We're looking for AM, okay? AM, so that AM is equal to that. So now, we want to move from A to M, okay? We want to move from A to M. How do we move? We can either, there are two options that we have, okay? There are two options. The first option, let me use red. The first option is to move from A to O, and then from O to M, right? The other option, let me use green, is to move from A to C, and then from C to M. Those are the two options that we have. And both of them, I'm sure if you try both of them, they're going to give you the same answers, okay? Now, here, I would rather choose the root in what? In red. I would rather choose that one. The reason is simple. The reason is that here, AO is going to be negative A. It's just A, negative A, that's all, right? And then this one is going to be positive. I just get half of what we found for OC, isn't it? Just half of what we found for OC. But then, if I get this root here, AC and then plus CM, okay? It means I will have to get negative half of OC. Why are we putting negative? It's because it's going in the opposite direction. Now, remember, when you involve a lot of things, you are bound to making mistakes. Okay? You can make a mistake. Because here, if you introduce a negative there, for example, you can forget that negative is belonging to both these, and that maybe just put that negative to this one, or maybe put the negative only to that one. Okay? So you can make such a mistake, isn't it? Not that any of the roots is going to be wrong, but you're just trying to avoid unnecessary what? Mistakes. Okay? So let's deal with that and see what we're going to have. We can possibly use both methods and see if we're going to get the same answer. So we want to move from A to M. So let's use the first root. We're saying that AM is equal to, what is AM? AM is going to be equal to AO plus OM. Okay? Then this is going to be equal to negative OA plus OM. Okay? Which is then equal to, what is OA? Is negative A plus OM. Okay? OM is half of OC, right? Is half of OC, which is half of this, which is 2/3, okay, of A, right? And then plus 1/3 of B. So this is then going to be equal to negative A, right? Plus 2 there, 1, 2 there, it's 1. So this is going to be 1/3 of A, right? And then plus this is going to be this, and that is going to be 1/6 Okay, 1/6 of what? Of B. Okay, so this is then going to be equal to what? Let's simplify this. We're going to get, this is going to be, this is, remember this is 1/3 of A minus A, okay, then plus 1/6 of B. Now here we have, like we have 1/3 minus 1, okay, so this is going to be negative what? Negative 2/3, isn't it? So this is 3, we have 1 minus 3, that is going to be negative, negative what? 2/3, okay? Yeah, negative 2/3. So this is going to be equal to, here we're going to have negative 2/3 of A, okay, then plus, plus what? Plus 1/6 of B. Okay, then here what we do? What we can do is that we want to factorize. Okay, we want to factorize. Why are we doing that? It's because we have seen what they have told us. They are saying that in the question, they are saying that the 1/6 should be outside the brackets. By the way, before we even do that, we can arrange. Remember, I told you that the negatives needs to come second. So we're going to have 1/6 of B minus 2/3 of A. Okay. So here, if we factorize there, okay, if we factorize, we're going to get what? 1/6. Okay, here if we factor out the 1/6, they are going to remain with B minus what? So if we multiply, if we factor out 1/6 from here, what are we going to get? It's like here we are trying to multiply. It's like we're multiplying 2/3 by 6. Okay. Remember, it's like if we divide 1/6 into that, so that is, it's like we're saying 2/3 divide 1/6. Okay, but because there's division, this is going to be 2/3 multiplied by 6/1, isn't it? So then this is going to be 3 there, 1, 3 there, 2, which is going to give you what? A 4. So this is going to be 4A. Okay, so it has given us what we have been told. They told us to show that AM is equal to what? Is equal to 1/6 multiplied by B minus 4A. Okay, so this is if we use the root AOM. Okay, let's try it the other way around. Have you copied? Have you written? Sorry? Okay, you can copy that and then we can use the other root. Okay, so I will write here again. So let's use the other root and see if we're going to get the same answer. So if we say AC, we're saying that AM is equal to AC plus CM. Okay? So this is going to be equal to AC, we already have, so this is AC plus, plus what? Plus CM, we're saying that CM is simply, this is negative what? It's going to be negative half, okay, half of OC, right? It's negative half of OC. This CM is negative half of The reason why we are putting a negative is because we're going in this direction, CM, meaning that it's opposite to the original direction. Okay? Now this is going to be equal to what? What did we find? What was AC? What was AC again?
AC was, AC was 1 over 3 and minus 1 over 3.
Okay. Like that, right?
Yes.
That was AC. Then minus half. Okay. Now this half, this minus half is for this. This is then going to be by 2/3 of A plus 1/3 of B. Like that. Okay. So you see why I said that I would rather use this route, because this one is going to involve a lot of things, right? We're going to write a lot of things, and in the process you may be bound to making a mistake, especially in an exam. So in an exam you have to be strategic, okay, because you're racing one against time. Number two, you need to be accurate. You don't need to make mistakes, okay? So you need to be strategic. You need to see which, if there are two methods that you can use, okay, and both of them are acceptable, then you'd rather use the one that is going to make you finish faster and one that is going to make you not to make any mistakes. Okay, so those are the two principles when you are writing an exam. So let's proceed. So this is going to be 1 over 3b minus 1 over 3a. Then this is going to be the 2 there and the 2 there will cancel, so we remain with minus what? Minus 1 over 3 a. Okay. Then with minus minus what? This by that minus what? It will be minus 1 over 6 b. Okay, like that. Then what are we going to have? This is this one here. Okay. Let me erase this side. So let's collect the like terms. So here we have 1 over 3b minus 1 over 6 1 over 6 what? B. Okay. Then minus 1 over 3a minus 1 over 3a. So this one is going to be equal to what? It's going to be equal to 1 over 3b, right? Then minus 1 over 6 a. Okay. Then we want to factorize. Okay, we want to factorize, right? Are we headed in the right direction? Let's see. We have this. Sorry. We have this and that. So 1 over 3b minus 1 over 3. 1 over 3 minus 1 over 6. That is 2. 2 minus, this is, okay, so it will be 1 over 6 after here. So it will be 1 over 6, right? And then here, 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3, that is 1 plus 1, that is 2 over, so it will be 1 over 3. Okay, so this one will be 1 over 3 a. Okay? Like that, right? I think we are now okay. Then we can factorize here. Okay? To factorize, we're going to have 1 over 6. Here we have b minus. So remember here we are dividing 1 over 3. Divide 1 over 6, which is the same as 1 over 3 times 6 over 1. Okay? Wait, there should be something that we are missing. There should be something that we are missing. There should be a 2 somewhere here. Should be missing a value somewhere. Where is that? 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3.
I have, here I was holding here.
Sorry?
2 over, on
Where is that? Where you have what?
2 over 6a. And then back then multiply the half by 2 over 3a. One in the bracket here.
So the one in the bracket, it's 2 over 3a
Yes. Yes.
plus,
Multiplied by half. I didn't simplify.
you didn't simplify.
Yes, I just multiplied half by 6 over 3a.
Okay, so what was OC? OC was what?
I knew question also, but then I just make it a negative. That was why I needed.
You didn't make it what?
I just make also a negative.
Or you didn't make OC a negative?
Yes, I made it positive. So for me, my formula was half, 1 over 3 in bracket b minus a, then plus 1 over 2, 2 over 3. That's in bracket 2 over 3a plus 1 over 3b.
Okay. So so where we are having a mistake is here at this point, because we're trying to use both methods from here to there and the one from here to there, right? So there should be somewhere where we're missing a number such that here we're supposed to come up with 2 over 3a. That's what we're supposed to have there, isn't it? Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to see where that mistake is. Okay. What was AC again? What was AC?
Was 1 over 3, then in bracket, okay, here I didn't simplify it. For me, it's 1 over 3, then in bracket 2.
So 1 over 3 in bracket what?
Yes, b minus a.
B minus A. Okay, so meaning that it's still 1 over 3 B minus 1 over 3 A, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Where have we made a mistake? So there is 1 over 3b. Okay, 1 over 3b minus 1 over 6b, which is here. Okay. Let's do that. So we have 1 over 3 b, okay, minus 1 over 6b. So common denominator is 6. This is going to be it's going to be what? 2 minus 1, isn't it? Which is going to be 1 over 6b. So this one we are okay. Then here we have 1 over 3a, okay? 1 over 3a. Now, because of the negative, it's like this is negative and this is negative, so we are adding them, isn't it? So this is 3, okay? Okay, like that. Yeah. So 3 into 3, 1 plus multiplied by that, that is 1 and plus 1. Okay, then yeah. So this is going to be 2 over 3. Okay, 2 over 3. That makes sense now. I think I just made a mistake on adding there. Okay, so we're saying that here, since it's remember we're factorizing 1 over 6. So here it means that we're going to have 2 over 6 divided by 1 over 6. I mean 2 over 3 divided by 1 over 6, which is the same as 2 over 3 multiplied by 6 over 1. And 3 there, 1, 3 there, it's 2, which is going to be 4. So hence, we're going to have what? We're going to have 1 over 6 multiplied by b minus 4a. So it has given us the same answer. If we go in this direction and we go in that direction, we're getting the same answer. So you can see, even from as we are working out, you can see that we made that mistake. Now imagine it's in an exam, okay? You try to use that route, which is involving a lot of numbers, then you make a mistake. You start afresh and all that, and it's time consuming, isn't it? So always be sure to see. In this case, I was able to see which one is going to be easier because number one, this route, there's only one value there, which is A, this other root is not involving me to introduce a negative. But in this case, from A to C, there were a lot of numbers there. Again, from C to M, there was an aspect of me involving a negative. Okay, so that would have made, or rather has made my work a bit complicated. Okay, so in an exam, number one, your accuracy is compromised. Number two, your speed is also compromised. So make sure that you choose, in any case, it may not just be on vectors, may also be on any other topic. So you choose a method that is obviously acceptable by the examiner. Number two, it should be quick for you to finish. Number three, it should give you maximum accuracy in terms of answering the question. Okay, is it okay? Is then everything okay? Yeah. So we'll go through the other two possibly tomorrow before we do chemistry. I think tomorrow we need to do chemistry. Okay. So for now we can end here. Sorry. Mm-hmm. You're asking?
I'm asking for this type of questions that
Mm-hmm.
this one is only just about choosing that what the final answer for what this was solving for. So this one was solving for AM.
Yeah.
So that AM is equal to that. So it's just about proving.
Yeah. So this one is just about proving. The other way you can take it is that it's like they tell you you can even forget about what they have told you. It's like they just tell you find AM. Okay? They say find AM, right? What are you going to do for you to find AM? Isn't it? So you start working out AM just like we did. For you to move from A to M, you have to move from A to O and then from O to M, isn't it? Then you start doing everything, except that the only time when you will look at what you've already been given is when you want to verify how to express the final answer. Okay? Because you're trying, because like in this case, for example, it was what? It was 1 over 6b minus 2 over 3a, isn't it? So in the actual sense, in the normal sense, we can even leave it here. Okay? We can leave it, we can leave it at that point. And the answer is going to be correct. If the question was find AM. Okay? But in this case, they're saying that show that AM is equal to that. So now it's just a matter of you realizing that for me to leave it in this format, I need to factorize the 1 over 6. Okay? So looking at that is just to help you know how to leave the final answer, in what format to leave the final answer. Otherwise, it's as good as you just working out on your own, as like they told you to find AM, and then you reach that point. Now, when you reach this point, you want to now know in which format to leave the final answer. Then you refer to what you have been given so that you show that AM is equal to that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Any other question?
No.
Okay. So if you have no question, we can end here for tonight, and then we're going to continue where we've ended tomorrow.